Well, that game sucked. Game one for the Dodgers, not a good one. You flushed that one. Let's react. Let's vent, and then let's move on to game two for your Los Angeles Dodgers. Come hang out with us on this edition of the All Dodgers podcast. Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast, and Jeff's joining me. I feel like this is not a meh worthy type of game, so
No mess.
I'll just do one meh. One meh. I'm still excited.
That's one too many mess.
Jeff is coming at us live from some sort of a random hotel room or motel room. He pays by the hour to get in there. All Dodgers is part of the Bleav Network, presented by FanDuel. And Jefferson, there's no reason to beat around the bush here. Not a good game. You flushed this one. This was not a good game for your Dodgers.
Yeah, that game absolutely sucked. We talked about the bullpen being the weak spot of the team, and we said the way to mitigate that is for the offense and the starting pitching to step up. The offense executed half of their plan. They got Trey Savage's pitch count up and got him out of the game early. Problem is they didn't capitalize on their opportunities to score, and then Blake Snell decided to have a bad game. And, we got to give credit to the Blue Jays hitters. They hit the ball well, but Blake Snell did not have command of his fastball today. And I think that was the big story, and I'm sure if Huckster is here, he's going to be mad at me for saying that and not giving more credit to the Blue Jays hitters. Obviously, the Blue Jays hitters got the job done, but Blake Snell didn't have his fastball, and everything plays off the fastball.
Yeah.
And so that was, he was very bad tonight. And then Emmett Sheehan said, "Hold my beer," and then Anthony Bonda said, "Somebody's got beer," and it was just a cavalcade of terrible pitching. Went from bad Snell to worse Sheehan to worse Bonda, and
that was all she wrote.
Yeah, that ended up being the story of the game. So I mean, I just saw you and Alana talking about Ohtani's garbage time homer. You know what? I'll still take a 2-run homer over. I'd rather lose 11-4 than 11-2 because at least it shows a little bit of fight. I guess they didn't do anything after that, and but yeah, I mean the game sucked, and you joked in a text that I just saw somebody said I look like I'm in a call center. Yeah, I'm on my laptop. This headset is what I have when I'm on my laptop. I don't have my good webcam and my microphone with me, so this is what we get. You were joking. How many times are people going to harass me by saying it's just one game in the chat? But you know what?
It's kind of
just one game. Like you come into the series when you're on the road, you think, okay, let's split the first two on the road. Obviously, you want to win the first one because then you can get greedy and win the second one. If the Dodgers win tomorrow, it's basically mission accomplished for what they needed to do in Toronto. So, like you said, they got to flush this one and come back and win tomorrow.
Yeah, and if we're looking at early in the show, our FanDuel odds, it still likes the Dodgers tomorrow. It likes Yamamoto on the bump, -132 favorites on the money line versus +112 for Kevin Gausman and the Blue Jays. Dodgers have gotten to Kevin Gausman in the postseason before. The biggest story really was the two biggest stories were not capitalizing on opportunities against Savage and Blake Snell just not having his best stuff. You mentioned the fastball, also didn't really have his changeup. Plus, I'm pretty sure teams were really, really looking for that changeup. But
I think that was because of the fastball. I think if the fastball's working, the changeup would have been better because it all plays off of it. So they were able to kind of sit changeup, especially the right-handers, and that was the big issue.
Yeah, Dodgers fan 81 says flush it and win tomorrow. We will be all right. And that I think that's I know our buddy Kevin Skinner, who's not with us tonight. He texted us before, sent us a message in our group chat about starting to feel the nerves for game one. That's what he does. He does that. He very much lives and dies by these. I mean, we all do to some degree. I still feel as confident after this game, after this loss, as maybe not as confident, but I still feel pretty strongly confident in the Dodgers' ability to go out and win this World Series because they still have the better players. They still have the more talent. It just so happened their starter did not necessarily have it. Blake Snell, I even got corrected a little bit by Alana in the last show. Pitched a lot better than his line. Absolutely pitched a lot better than his line. However, Dave went to either Dave went to everybody wrong in the bullpen, or everybody just decided to just have their diarrhea hose, or they brought in their gas cans. Whichever angle you want, didn't work. None of them worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will Klein worked. Will Klein worked.
Yeah, Will Klein and Justin Robleski looked good.
Yeah.
There was some positives. Of course, it is easier to come in with the clean inning than to come in with bases loaded and nobody out. On the radio broadcast, Steven Nelson and Rick Monday were talking about how Sheehan kind of looked like he was pitching to avoid the big hit rather than just trying to attack. I mean, realistically, when you come in when you're Sheehan, your goal needs to be only allow one run, which means you need to be throwing strikes, get yourself a flyout or whatever. So you give up a hit, okay. A walk there, it's just unacceptable. Like you just got to do better.
Yeah.
And I keep going back to the offense because I know the Dodgers lost by 7 runs, and Blake Snell didn't have it. Which, by the way, I think your call of Blake Snell for World Series MVP took a big hit today. We're going to need a no hitter in Game 5 to clinch the World Series if he's getting that. But the offense wasting opportunities. Yeah. Andy Pasillas, bases loaded, 1 out, full count. And, somebody in your chat with Alana said, how was Andy Pasillas the only one in the stadium who didn't know that there was a pitch out of the zone coming there? And that's like, you just put your bat on your shoulder there. And like, you got to have the self-awareness to say, okay, everybody in baseball knows that I'm allergic to walking. There's no way in the world they're going to throw me a strike in this situation. And so if I just don't swing, it'll be ball 4. Because if he walks, then Shohei's grounder down to first baseline scores another run because it's only the second out. Like, that's 2 more runs. And yes, I know they lost by 7 runs, but it's a different game if Snell is struggling and it's 4-2 instead of 2-2.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, there's that angle of it. It's also a different game if it was, 3 or 4-2 advantage, Blue Jays rather than a 9-run 6th inning. Breaking news, this is a really good Dodger game. The 6th inning is just stricken from the record. But yeah, I don't know that we've necessarily defended Andy Pasillas so much this postseason, but I don't know. You're not seeing better at bats. You're not seeing quality decision making at the plate. Do you think there could be maybe an Alex Call sighting in left field and Kike sliding over to center?
It's hard to see them starting Alex Call against Kevin Gausman.
That's kind of all they have. Should have freed Michael Conforto. I said it in the Discord
another
chat.
Option.
the reason they're going to lose the series because Conforto wasn't there.
An option would be to put Tommy Edman in center field and Hye-Sung Kim
if he can handle it. If he can handle it, yeah, I don't hate that. Yeah. I think we are at a point though where maybe Pasillas needs a blow at the bare minimum. Give him a day tomorrow. He has a travel day, and then back in the lineup in LA potentially.
Yeah, he's been batting 9th. It might be time to bat him 10th.
Oh God, I had a chat I was going to bring up, and I don't remember where it is, so we'll just kind of shift from that one. Number of folks, also mentioning, maybe Alex Vesia. It could have been his lane there. I don't think that was Vesia's lane at all. Plus, whatever's going on in his life, that's much, much more important. So don't even I would rather people not even put that pressure on him to be like, oh man, if he was here, they would have won that game, or at least it would have been a slightly closer loss. There was a chat, I don't know if it was here or on the other show, that moment kind of felt like a Blake Trinan inning to get out of that bases loaded situation.
I guess the problem is it was so early in the game. It's not the part of the lineup you necessarily want Trinan for. And yeah, I mean, there's no right answer there. The right answer is, hey, starting pitcher, don't load the bases with nobody out in a tie game. once you're in that situation, it's like, okay, I didn't hate the move to Emmett Sheehan. Obviously, it didn't work out, but he has the stuff to come in. And right there, you're hoping for one strikeout in your first two batters. Basically, if you can get a strikeout and a sac fly in the first two batters, then you have a chance of getting out of the inning with only one run
Yeah.
scored. That's kind of your goal. And so you want somebody who can get some strikeouts. And so Emmett Sheehan at that part of the lineup, I don't think it was a crazy idea to think he might be able to get you a strikeout. Uh, and Blake Trinan might have been able to too. I don't hate the idea of going to Trinan there, but I don't think it's a actively wrong decision unless you're just going in hindsight. Like, oh, Emmett Sheehan came in and sucked. Yeah, they definitely shouldn't have had sucky Emmett Sheehan come
Yeah.
in.
That would have been the
But
smart play.
yeah, I don't think Dave Roberts held up his hand for sucky Emmett Sheehan. That's just who came out of the bullpen gate.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's been pretty bad over the course, small sample size, but over the course of this postseason, that was his fourth appearance. None of them have been exceptional. I think they didn't give him enough opportunity to get used to relieving, considering he only pitched in relief one game towards the end of the season, and like you pointed out very recently, it wasn't even like a real true relief outing. It was more of a bulk role. Like he essentially started and went through his full starting routine. So. Mega Elijah says this really isn't Dave's fault. I agree. It is not. This is not on Dave Roberts. The thumbnail you could argue is a little bit of clickbait, but he is the man who pilots this team, and he is the man who went to Emmett Sheehan there, and then went to Anthony Banda, and apparently told them both to give me your worst effort today, and that's what happened. Yeah, good decision on his part.
You know, I guess it was a little bit nostalgic. It's been several months since we've seen Anthony Banda give up a grand slam. And before that, it had been several days. And before that, it had been several days. But this was definitely early season Anthony Banda and not what you're hoping for there. It's, if everybody was going to have one bad game, one bad pitching performance this series, it's better to pile them all up in one game. Now we just have to see if this really was everybody's one bad performance, because they're going to need, if they're going to win this World Series, Blake Snell's going to pitch again. They're going to need a good performance from him. They're going to need Anthony Banda for sure. With no Alex Vesia, they're going to need Anthony Banda. They're probably going to need Emmett Sheehan at some point. And so, yeah, we can cross our fingers and hope this was each of their one bad performance. This Blue Jays team can hit, and we knew that coming in. The Dodgers starting pitching needs to do better, needs to get deeper in the game. And obviously the offense needs to put up more runs. And that means don't swing at ball four with bases loaded. Don't run into the first out at third base. Just kind of the little things.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't give up 9 runs in an inning, the little things. We're putting a lot of this on the Dodgers and their performance and their effort. And it's probably at least 75% on them, in my opinion. Did you, having watched now, I don't know how many Blue Jays games you watch over the course of a year. Personally, not many.
This was my fourth one. It was your first one because you were camping the last time.
I was camping that last time. If they go down 0-2, I might have to do some midweek camping, but then I would miss out on World Series games I get to attend for free.
Why don't you go camping right now and get us a win in Toronto, dummy?
How do I do that?
Just go in your backyard, plop out a sleeping bag, and
I do have my camping patio mat out there right now that I set up for my party. Anyways, this is a different
come
conversation.
back on Sunday, and it'll be 1-1 heading back to LA.
Well, I can't. I'm pretty sure our friend Richie and DeVore would be upset, and Diane would be upset that I would blow off the party for the sake of the team. But they are having
Just go camp in Richie's backyard then.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
High key. That sounds terrifying.
It's in DeVore,
Right up to 215. So
yep. But
you got more eyes on the Toronto Blue Jays. I said on Dodgers territory. Alana didn't really let me finish the thought, as she does sometimes. Same I do to her. So this is not an indictment on her. I have not a lot more respect, but definitely a chunk more respect for them than I had entering the series. Of course, we were flying high. I was flying high entering this series, entering the game, coming off of a sweep, the Dodgers looking good. To me, I felt like watching that game and taking in, experiencing that game. It was like the douchebag with the pop collar trying to be like, okay, I could beat you up, bro. I could beat you up, and then like he's doing that to a black belt, and it was just like, and knocked on his ass. That's what I kind of felt like happened to the Dodgers today. What is now your level of respect for the Toronto Blue Jays offense at the bare minimum after that game?
I hope my internet's working. Can you hear me okay right now?
Yeah, I hope you heard all of my things.
Okay,
There was
because I,
action.
I I heard like I, I heard enough of your things to understand the question. Uh, I respected the Blue Jays already. Um, I I think what we saw when the Dodgers played the Blue Jays in LA a couple months ago was that when the Dodgers execute their pitching plan, these Blue Jays hitters can be beat.
Yeah,
I think the Blue Jays are very good at capitalizing when a pitcher is struggling. And that's what we saw today. And so, what we're going to need is Yamamoto to have command of at least most of his pitches tomorrow.
yeah,
And we're going to need that from Glasnow and Otani too, because yeah, this team can they can pound bad pitching, and because Blake Snell couldn't command his fastball today, I wouldn't say he was a bad pitcher, but he was definitely not the Blake Snell we've seen recently, and the Blue Jays made him pay.
yeah. I mean, he was perfectly fine for like a regular season game. The fact that he was able to it was 5 plus. If they were able to hold that, he went through 5 innings and only allowed two earned runs, but 8 hits, 3 walks. Again, just plainly not his best stuff, and this much we know. But
And
you
the
know,
Dodgers paying tribute to Clayton Kershaw by allowing inherited runners to score.
maybe what. Blake Snell really is the true ace of the Dodgers now. We're proud of him. The mantle has been passed, or the torch has been passed, however people might say that more accurately. Yeah, what's his name? Alejandro Kirk. I had said this like watching him as a pesky mofo right there. Just spoiled a lot of Snell pitches. Kept the line moving for the Jays. Dalton Varsho, I remember him trying to be a catcher, trying to be an outfielder for the Diamondbacks, and then he was traded away. And I know he's been okay in Toronto, but big swing, the type of big swings you get for, I don't want to call them a team of destiny, but those teams that end up winning a World Series, you get it from performance, or you get the offense from like the most random dudes in there. So I'm hoping it's not eventually a destiny fulfilled
It's
sort
not
of
a
thing.
Steve Pierce situation.
Yeah. The second Steve Pierce drop of the night. Let's see. We got some super chats in here before we tell you all about Delete Me. Francisco Diaz with the 9.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Francisco. Says, am I watching all Dodgers at the bottom of the 6th inning? What a ridiculous performance from a team that is trying to go back to back. Jays hit them with the haymaker, and they look like they're here to stay. He has more thoughts. Let's see. What are your guys' opinions on? Dang it, get out of the way. We don't need him. Chance. Of course, that's regard to Shohei. I got to hit the gong to complete the super chat. They're feeling themselves, but it was too early to give Shohei some crap. So we can make that a two-parter. We'll dive into the Shohei thing first. Haymaker. That's pretty much what I was saying too. Just like a pop, and you're down.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And in hindsight, it's like, okay, if they had just stopped allowing runs after the three inherited runners,
Yeah,
it's a different game.
absolutely.
Like you can't allow 9 runs in an inning. I would guess that teams that allow 9 runs in an inning win maybe 1% of the time, maybe not even that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a formula for winning baseball. And at some point, you got to stop the bleeding there. But again, that's on the players, And so, yeah, you Anthony Bonda had his chance, come in and stop the bleeding, and instead he threw gas on it, and it happens. It sucks, and no fun.
Yeah, here's Blake Snell, by the way. He says, wasn't locating the fast or the ball. Command of the fastball wasn't great. Frustrating, but I learned a lot, and that's pretty much what I saw. That's what I wrote down, too. Fastball command, the chicken scratch, 0 changeup, not World Series MVP, and a stinker. That's all it was. Straight up a stinker. Still can be my World Series MVP with a perfect game in Game 5 or whenever he would be pitching next. Our buddy Richie Flores with the $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Richie. Saying besides the lack of offense and the Blue Jays fouling out pitches to drive up the pitch count, somebody besides Roki needs to step up and have some balls. Sheehan is gutless. He needs to grow a pair. We also need to go back to the Ohtani thing. We'll do that after the delete me break. Sheehan just not used to this role. That's what it kind of feels like to me. Not we hoped entering this postseason, we really hoped and needed him to be better, and he hasn't been.
Yeah, it's a hard job to come in with bases loaded and nobody out, and that mindset. I think it is a different mindset to come in, and maybe he wasn't ready for that. But problem is you got to get somebody warming up before the situation. Blake Snell clearly wasn't going to get through that 6th inning. And so Dave Roberts was probably thinking runner on first and 2 outs, and we'll go to Emmett Sheehan. That you're kind of staying optimistic when you get Sheehan up. The fact is Snell just couldn't get a single out, couldn't get anybody out. And so at that point, Sheehan's the guy who's warmed up, and you got to go to him in that situation. And I think this will be good for Sheehan in the long run. I don't know if it'll pay dividends this year, but in the future, he's been in that situation now. He probably has talked with Mark Pryor and the rest of the staff, and kind of what Rick Monday was talking about how you gotta go after guys in that situation. You got to recognize your job there is not to get out of this unscathed. It's to limit the damage. And when you try to get out of it unscathed, you end up not limiting the damage. So lesson learned for him. I don't, believe it or not, I don't agree with Richie's assessment, calling him gutless or anything. It was a bad performance. And like you said, a role that he wasn't accustomed to and maybe not totally ready for.
Yeah, I could understand the assignment of gutless just because he was nibbling. He was not really attacking the hitters, and that's where I could see if you're going to be somebody's going to call you gutless, it's probably because you're not going out there and being like, F you, I'm going to throw this, and let's see if your best stuff can beat my best stuff. And maybe that was, again, not the best situation, give him a clean inning to start that. But we don't need to continue to dwell on what would have happened, what could have been different in this game. The Dodgers lose 11-4, and that much sucks. We're going to come back and talk more about the Shohei booing and all this. It wasn't really booing, I guess. Shohei jeering, is that what we call it? Maybe?
Heckling?
So, heckling, that's probably better. But first, I'm going to tell you guys.
Heckle.
It's a group, a pretty big group heckle of Shohei Ohtani and more super chats, hanging out with people. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about Delete Me, because Delete Me makes it easy, quick, delicious, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time where surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. You know this. I'm going to tell you about it again, though. Data brokers, they make a profit off of you. They make a profit off of your data. To them, your data is a commodity. Anybody on the web can buy your private details, and that could lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, harassment. But now you can protect your privacy and your life with, well, maybe not your life, but with Delete Me. They're going to help you out. Jeff and I were people with active online presences. People want to be stealing our gold or stealing our Twitter accounts. Maybe he's got many more followers than me. I stopped paying attention to Twitter a long time ago. But anyways, maybe beyond that, people want to know where we live so they can put doo-doo on our doorstep. Delete Me is going to help a little bit keep your information out of evildoers' hands. That's what I decided. That's what we call vamping right there. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now at a special discount for our listeners. You see it there on the screen. You get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/hit. Use promo code HIT, that is HIT, at checkout, and that's the only way you can save it. You go to joindeleteme.com/hit, enter code HIT at checkout. You save 20%. That is pretty cool. Thank you guys for listening to me, supporting the brands that support us here at the All Dodgers podcast. Let's move on. We talked about flushing it. Let's talk about moving ahead to game 2. But before we do that, we got to talk about the Shohei thing. Beyond the super chat that I'll put back up from Francisco, what are our opinions on the we don't need him, we don't need you chant at at Roger Center there, and also Dirty Don sent us $4.99. Thank you much, Dirty Don. Says we don't need you. Chance might be a bad idea knowing Shohei. I get it. I understand it. I think it's dumb. I think it's not quite as dumb as crying Kershaw, but it's a dumb thing to do when you only are heading towards a 1 game lead in the series.
Yeah. You broke up, so I hope I'm not breaking up.
Don't break up with me.
Yeah, I mean, the fans were correct that tonight they didn't need him. Uh, I think the Blue Jays, like every other team in baseball, would be better if Shohei Ohtani was their DH. I understand they are jilted, not even ex lovers. It's like, hey, I asked you out once and you said no, and I gave your dog a hat. I thought we had something special. I Yeah, you know what? I am all about fans being stupid in the name of fandom. That
Yeah.
is kind of the point of fandom. And, boo him, chant at him. I don't think Shohei Ohtani is going to take motivation from this. I think he's just going to continue to be a very good baseball player,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully a really good baseball player over the next 4 to 6 games to help the Dodgers win 4 games. But it won't be because of this chant. And uh, yeah, it's a dumb thing that people chanted. I'd love to know who started it because
Yeah.
it's fun that you have the entire stadium chanting the same thing together.
It is pretty
Uh,
funny.
but, but yeah, it was dumb, and that's fine.
It is pretty funny that they were able to put that together. Hey, credit where credit is due over there, Toronto. You're still gonna lose. I decided, but yeah, let's look ahead to game 2. Yeah, you
I
ready?
take it my mic's not sounding great. Ken Wolcott
It's
says Jeff's mic equals Dodgers offense.
it's not the best, but you knew you were doing this, so you didn't have time to get better equipment. It is what it is.
To be fair, it's not the mic; it's the hotel Wi-Fi.
No, I mean it's not a exceptionally gifted mic when you're used to listening to us on our studio grade stuff, so I can understand that. He is used to a certain quality of Jeff. Right now he's got Jeff. We were talking about Yamamoto gets the ball tomorrow. I agree. You and I agree that he just needs to be better than Blake Snell. He needs to have command of his pitches. He needs to mix and match his stuff, and I think he's going to do as good as we've seen him do this postseason. Even with that stinker, he's still been exceptional this postseason. What was it, like three runs over 4 innings or something like that? We talked about this yesterday. I still didn't look up the numbers. ADK with the 4.99 super chat in this part of this conversation. It's like, I'm confident the pitching will hold, but they won't hold the Jays to 1 point a game. So offense has to step up, bottom line. And it's the stoppers' opportunity to hold the Jays to 1 point or fewer, really. I guess. And now you broke up, I think. This is great. This is riveting. I don't know if he can hear us.
Sorry, did you throw something to me? I didn't hear you.
It was stuff. You talk about Yamamoto, more about Yamamoto, and keeping the Jays at bay. Maybe not. We might be losing Jeff, guys. How about we do this?
Yeah.
How about we say screw
Maybe
that
I should
guy?
connect to my phone's hotspot and try to hop back in.
All right.
Go to solo for a second.
Hey, Solo Cholo, hanging out with you guys here while Jeff makes noises in the background, so I will mute him. Ray Soto in the chat, $4.99. Thank you very much, Ray, for helping us out here. In a must-win game, Yoshi can't be rattled. We've all seen both sides rattled, both sides of a rattled and unrattled Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and I think in year 2, Yamamoto year 2, this is a dude who, again, played a stopper for this team pretty damn well this season, and even last season in the postseason. I think all of it has come together for him to be the right dude at the right time to help the Dodgers tie this series up. That's all you got to do. You win tomorrow's game. You go 1-1 on the road to start a World Series. You can't ask for much more than that. MH Dodger for Life 1999. Thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight on the Dodgers territory and over here. MH Dodger for Life. Appreciate you. Good to see you in the chat, by the way. Seems like Ohtani, Freeman, Pajes, and others are in periodic slumps. Ironically, the Dodgers have a combined postseason OPS of 760 in 2024. It is 770, higher in 2025. It seems like 2024 was a better team. Scared but hoping we still win the World Series. Yeah, it's a little bit different brand of an offense this year, it seems, in the postseason. Just it's not as crisp. Not as crisp. They're not as good at doing the little things they need to be doing as we welcome Jeff back in, and hopefully we can hear him, and more importantly, he can hear us. But we're talking about the differences between the offense from last year and the offense from this year, and I think they capitalized a lot more when they needed to, and we're not seeing that this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought about wrapping my arm in toilet paper and pulling a Vasse, say, "Hi guys," but here I am. I'm back. Yeah, it's there were bad games last postseason too.
Yep.
And it's so easy, and I know people hate it when I say it's only one game, so I won't say that phrase other than just now. But it's so easy to look at one bad night and think, oh, this is a microcosm of all the Dodgers problems and everything's going to continue to be this bad. And that's just generally not the case. And last year, Freddie Freeman did nothing in the first two postseason series last year. Mm-hmm. And then he was World Series MVP. Tommy Edman was NLCS MVP and then didn't do much in the World Series. Max Muncy was great in the NLCS, didn't do much in the World Series. You have your ups and your downs, and it's when you have a guy like Andy Pajes, who has been nothing but down for the whole postseason plus the last few weeks of the regular season. It's like, okay, this is more of a concern. But yeah, all in all, they just need a few guys to step up here and there. Like we said, tonight's game could have been much different if a few things had gone differently offensively early in the game, because that can change the whole flow of everything. It maybe changes Blake Snell's confidence in, attacking the zone if he's got a bigger lead. All sorts of things could have been different. And the nice thing is, I was thinking during that last inning, the Dodgers are down by 7 runs. It's like, okay, Ohtani got on base, but the Dodgers aren't going to win this game, and that's fine. But I was like, it's almost not fair that like tomorrow's game starts back at 0. What great news is that for the Dodgers? That like, hey, you just got your butts handed to you, and tomorrow it's like it never happened. Yep. The Blue Jays have to outscore you again tomorrow to win that game. They don't get to carry over those 7 runs to tomorrow. It's a brand new game tomorrow, and we've seen so many articles the last week or two about these Dodgers after in the Baltimore series when after that no-hitter that didn't happen, and kind of they come back the next day with the vibes, and it's just like, all right, we're ready. And since then, they've been really good. And so we know this team can turn a page.
Yeah.
We know that they can show up tomorrow saying, I don't care if we lost 5-4 or 11-4 yesterday. It counts as one loss. And I'm going to say it. It's just one game. And, we both said Dodgers in 5, right?
Yeah.
So we knew coming in the Dodgers are going to lose one game. Hopefully they lose only one game, but a loss was going to happen. I would have much preferred it not be game 1.
Same.
But
a couple of things perfectly timed here. How about my buddy Albert in the chat saying can't win 5 without losing 1. And how about you'll appreciate this listener of the show, Marcus Lynn Betts. Clearly, one game. Nothing we can do about it now.
My man.
My man. He's clearly, you paid him off. I get it. You paid him off. So Miss Blue Mod asked earlier, have they talked us off a ledge yet? I don't know. That's up to you. I feel not as confident, but still incredibly confident because I was cocky confident heading into this series, heading into this game. but this is part to borrow from Manny Machado, who you don't have his torso with you. It would be funny if you brought him with you for some reason, but it's just baseball. They're going to win a game. The Blue Jays are good. They drive nice cars too. If I'm going to steal from Mookie in this regard, our buddy Ken says 1981, Dodgers lost 2 in New York, then won 4 straight. Hopefully they don't need to repeat that. But hey, I will take whatever needs to happen, whatever stress we need to endure to win back-to-back World Series. So hopefully that helps talk people off a ledge. We should feel pretty good heading into Game 2 with Yama on the bump.
Yeah, don't come anywhere near the ledge in Game 1. Like, it's obviously, in a literal sense, it's just a game. It's just baseball. It doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things. But even purely from a baseball is the most important thing in the world standpoint, it's Game 1.
Yeah.
And, that we wouldn't be, if the Dodgers were playing a team that was probably better than them right now, and the Dodgers won Game 1, we wouldn't suddenly think, oh, we got this series in the bag. We'd think, crap, well, hope. I think about last year against the Yankees, who I was nervous most of that series. And after they won Game 1, that Freddie Freeman grand slam, and I was doing my show. I forget what the name of that old show used to be. But I was doing that show from a different place here in St. George, Utah. And somebody asked me, how does this Freddie Freeman grand slam compare to the Kirk Gibson home run? And I said, I don't know, because Kirk Gibson's eventually led to a World Series title. I have no idea what's going to happen here. That's how Dodgers had just won a hugely historic game. I didn't think, oh, sweet, the Dodgers won the World Series. Yeah. They've got this. It wasn't until once they were up 3-0, then I was confident the Dodgers were going to win the World Series. So right now, the fact that they're down 0-1, yeah, I would much rather have them be up 1-0, but it doesn't change my perspective of the series much at all. I think if I was guessing right now, I'd probably guess Dodgers in 6 instead of Dodgers in 5, just because they've already lost one. But, Dodgers in 5 is still a very real possibility.
Yeah. Hey, Halloween World Series game. I'm not mad at it. Latest odds over on FanDuel for the World Series winner, by the way. Shout out FanDuel, presenter of the All Dodgers podcast. Dodgers still favored. Not heavily favored, -116 to win it, and the Blue Jays now at -102. So they're both favorites. The Dodgers just slightly, just a little bit more favorite. Hey, let's take.
Donnie Boy has an interesting chat there.
Okay.
About Fluharty.
Are we? Oh, Donnie Boy. We're getting there. I got too many keyboards and too many computers.
Because I don't see it anymore. So yeah. Yeah, like we talked about, one of the Dodgers' goals was to get Savage out of the game, to get to the bullpen early, because that cumulative effect over the course of the series. Mason Fluharty, is that his name? Mason, whatever his name.
Sure.
I know it's not Jack.
Flaherty.
Mason Flaherty. He struck out Shohei Ohtani today. I think it was on a bad call, if I remember right.
Yes.
But, Shohei Ohtani's probably going to see Flaherty 2 or 3 more times in this series, at least. And that probably advantage starts to tip towards Ohtani at some point, even if it's just taking a walk like he did off Eric Lauer in the 9th inning today. Like, the more you see a guy, the more the advantage always goes to the hitter. And so that's why it kind of sucked that the Blue Jays got into the Dodgers bullpen as early today too. But also, I think there's a method to Dave Roberts' madness that he didn't go to Blake Trinan right off the bat. It's like, okay, well, chances are we're giving up at least 1 run in this inning, no matter who I bring in. Why don't we go? They were able to not use their high leverage guys, so they still haven't seen Trinan and Roki, some of those guys. So it's all that's going to add up over the course of the series, and hopefully it will end up helping the Dodgers. Right now, all that is just theoretical because there's only been 1 game.
Yeah, it's just 1 game. So you mentioned Roki there. Earlier in the chat, Dirty Don sent us $1.99. Thank you very much, Dirty Don. What will the Roki heckle be? The heckle chant be? I don't think there will be one with Roki. It wasn't quite as big and robust and public. The fact that Shohei Ohtani was on a plane to Toronto and it's over or whatever that JP fool said, whatever his name is. I forgot what the article was because who reads that garbage? But anyways, I digress. MH Dodger for Life 999. Thank you very much for another super chat, sir. Saying, why not consider switching up the lineup? Diane says Dave will not change the lineup. I think he'll change it for handedness, but I don't think in a panic move. I said it earlier this postseason. This time I really, really believe it. I would not be shocked to not see, Andy Pasillas in there tomorrow or out of the lineup.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we'll see things like that. I think if you think Dave Roberts might change the lineup drastically, you don't understand Dave Roberts. And that's just, and I mean that in an entirely positive way. I don't know how positively Diane meant it about Dave Roberts, but I mean it entirely positively. I think part of the reason people love playing for Dave Roberts is that he doesn't panic. He's not going to look at and say, "Oh, we had a bad game yesterday. Let's tinker." He's like, "No, the Dodgers are now 9-2 this postseason. That's a pretty good record. And so if you're tinkering every time you lose, it's because you don't understand the big picture nature of baseball. And even in a postseason series, this is a 7-game series. There is still a bigger picture to look at. It's not as big as the 162 game picture, but there's still a bigger picture to look at. And Dave Roberts is going to continue to look at that.
Absolutely. I feel solid. They lose tomorrow, I'm gonna be grumpy boy. I will definitely be a grumpy boy. But we'll end the show on this one. And chat, $5 from JY Kim. Thank you very much, JY Kim. I think losing game 1 will be good for the team. The Dodgers won't break. The loss will motivate them, and they'll come back stronger. We'll see. Just like you were opining after that Orioles series. They came back into the clubhouse the next day, something that should have broke them. They hit that rock bottom, and they used it to fuel a pretty good run to end the season and continue into the postseason. Because, like you also mentioned, 9-2 record. If somebody told you that heading into October or heading into the wild card series, by the time they get to game 1 of the World Series or game 2, they would have gone 9-2. You're gonna take that every effing day of the week.
Yeah, you would definitely wish that. That it was 10-1 for sure. But in the end, 9-2, it's still a very good Dodgers team and still has all the reasons we were confident yesterday still apply to this team today. A little bit because the bullpen had to get used more, but the Dodgers still have better starting pitching than the Blue Jays. The Dodgers still have an offense that has the potential to be better than the Blue Jays offense. The Blue Jays offense obviously is better today. But the Blue Jays bullpen is still a big question mark, just like the Dodgers is. And so, this is a series that is still very winnable and that I expect them to win.
Dodgers fan, this will be the last one. Who would take Pasillas' spot in the lineup? Either Ha-Seong Kim or Alex Call. That's pretty much kind of all.
Or Miguel Rojas, I
guess. Against the veteran.
If you're going with Edman to the outfield.
Yeah, if he can play outfield. But we will see another 5 o'clock game, LA time tomorrow at Rogers Center. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us here from my my dead mom's basement and your hotel brothel.
It's my mom's hotel. Yeah.
Mom's hotel room. Mom's motel room out there somewhere in the Utah. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the super chats. You guys are awesome. Sorry the Dodgers didn't win today. Sorry we gave you hope for a sweep. Still said it. Dodgers 5 or Dodgers in 6. And we will be celebrating a parade. There's a parade inside my city or whatever. One of them rap dudes said, All Dodgers is presented by FanDuel, part of the Bleav Network of podcasts. Hey, if you're looking for a different way to continue the conversation and support the show, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/realfrg. It's $5 a month to talk about the Dodgers with a bunch of friends in a community or, kind of everybody lose their crap together in one big happy family. So go check that out. And you are supporting independent Dodgers coverage here online. We are not backed by any sort of big money or anything. We have to work to get fed around here, and don't let our size.
We didn't even get any Indonesian rupiah tonight. Like that.
Leave Jason alone. He is a nice fellow.
He is.
Shout out to our mods for doing a great job, as you guys always do. Diane, IB Stroking, Jenny in the chat, others. I forget who else. Alex Rose. If he was here, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't here, and that's
I
why the
saw him.
Dodgers lost. Okay, good. Now I'm just giving him crap for no reason. All right, Dodgers make it 1-1 series tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.